She's like a sickness in my brain, a vision standing by the window pane. She ripples through the blinds and leaves me in a daze. It's in the way her body moves me, the way she grabs me and intoxicates, until the signals in my mind forget to operate.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you for joining me for a Coffee and Crime Time special edition, update edition. I just wanted to get with you guys really quick, go through some of the cases that we've talked about during Coffee and Crimes and give you updates on the ones that have updates. Okay, so a little while ago we talked about the two teens in Canada who had basically gone on a killing spree, and the fact that they were missing, they were still fugitives, they were on the run. People were worried, especially people in that area. Well, after 3 weeks of being on the run and scaring everybody, the two boys, Cam McLeod and Briar Schmilgleski, I can't say his name anymore. Cam and Briar were found. They were found in some dense brush on the shoreline of the Nelson River in Gillum. So pretty much they hadn't gone far. They ended up turning the gun on themselves, and what really is horrible about the whole situation is obviously the people that they had killed previously, but we don't know why now. We don't know why they did it. Briar's father, Alan, is a problematic person in my opinion. He's made himself very accessible to the media while this was all happening. I think he enjoyed the attention. He also said that he figured that this whole thing was going to end in Briar and Cam's deaths because he kind of knew what kind of mission they were going on. He also gave the boys kudos for evading the authorities for as long as they did. So in my opinion, there's really no surprise how Briar turned out the way he did. However, Alan, Briar's father, would attribute Briar's upbringing and what he inevitably did with him being raised on video games and YouTube, saying that he had a lot of time and very little attention was paid to him, and he knows he could have done a better job, and he regrets that. However, Alan is writing a book about this. He's writing a book to profit off of the deaths of 3 people at the hands of his son and his son's friend, and to profit off of the deaths of these 2 young boys who knows why they did what they did. But that is what Alan is doing. Alan sent this book titled Red Flagged to some reporters this past July, and I'm not sure if it's going to be published or if anybody will read it. I certainly will not be reading it because I don't care to hear the opinions and the ramblings of a man who clearly knew that there was something going on with his son and did nothing to stop it, potentially contributing to the deaths of 3 innocent people. Oh my God, okay, so it's a 132-page book. He plans to self-publish, but does not intend to publish for sale. Okay, so I'm sorry. He does not intend to profit off of this book. Okay, so I retract my previous statement that he's trying to profit from it. He is currently, as far as I know, not trying to profit from it, but that's not to say that he will not later try to profit from it. There's really no other reason you would write a book like that, especially so soon after such a tragedy. But what he wants to express and what he wants you all to understand in his book is how the broken system shaped himself and his son. He says, quote, "My son and I have been treated like footballs. It's time for some truth." Now, this is my opinion, just my opinion, but I think that we should, not we, you know, I don't want to look at him, but the police, the Canadian police, should probably be keeping a close eye on Mr. Allen here, because it seems like he may be a little unstable and angry and maybe have an axe to grind of his own. There was also some reports that there was a note found with their bodies, but the authorities have it, and as far as I knew last, they didn't even let Alan read it yet, which is probably a good idea, and they haven't really reported or released what that letter said, but I'm assuming that we will at some point have an idea of what that letter said. Moving on. Let's talk about our good friend R. Kelly, who for some reason just won't go away. So R. Kelly is trying to hire a new lawyer. He wants somebody who I guess he thinks has a better chance of getting him acquitted of all these charges altogether. So of course he is trying to pull together funds to hire Michael Jackson's lawyer, Tom Mesereau, who acquitted him or got him acquitted of charges in 2005. And he's trying to literally raise money for this because he's broke. He doesn't have any money. So he has his team reaching out to all his high profile friends, asking for money to be donated anonymously, of course, because nobody wants to donate money to R. Kelly's legal fund with their name attached to it because people are embarrassed to know him now, I think. And R. Kelly's girlfriends, the ones who he's been accused of keeping hostage, they are also doing what they can to raise money for his legal defense. So one of the money-raising projects is a book deal in the works, and another is acquiring some media exposure. Azriel Clary and Jocelyn Savage have been working to reach out to media outlets for paid interviews. None are confirmed so far, but there is some bubbling interest, reports TMZ. So it looks like obviously R. Kelly's no longer making money from concerts. He was ordered to pay his ex-wife more than $30,000 as part of their 2009 divorce settlement, and he spent 3 days in county jail in March for failing to pay $160,000 in child support. So not only are R. Kelly's supporters reaching out to his rich and famous friends who have the money to contribute, but Jocelyn and Azriel and the people who are trying to help them raise this money, they are also reaching out to R. Kelly's average everyday fans, which he still has many, if you believe it or not. They're reaching out to all the people, through social media. If you want to help, give us some money to pay for this attorney that will get him acquitted. We would really appreciate it. So people, legitimate people, just average everyday people like you and me who, make under 6 figures a year are being asked to donate money to R. Kelly, a man who once was a multimillionaire and who has only lost his money because of the idiot things that he's done to himself. It's his own fault. Nobody stole his money from him. We're being asked to donate money to his legal defense, which could end up costing an incredibly enormous amount. I just think that's rich. That's rich. But if you want to do it, or there's people out there that want to spend their hard-earned money to prevent an alleged predator from doing time that he should allegedly be doing, then that's up to you. I guess I can't tell you what to spend your money on, but come on, this is incredibly ridiculous. And last month, R. Kelly, who was in jail at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, he was written up for refusing to take a cellmate. Like, he doesn't want to take a cellmate. Even though he's in prison, even though he's sitting behind bars, he still thinks he's a shot caller. So R. Kelly reportedly responded to news of a possible cellmate by saying, "I was told I didn't have to take a cellie, and I have too much going on to worry about incident report," the report says. An incident report stated that investigators also cited that Kelly had a poor attitude throughout the investigation regarding the cellmate issue. Earlier this month, Kelly's lawyers filed a motion stating that the singer has been subjected to draconian conditions while jailed in the special housing unit. This past Thursday, lawyers filed a separate motion asking for Kelly's immediate release from solitary confinement. So here's my question. Because remember in our last R. Kelly video, we talked about how R. Kelly had missed court dates and, wasn't doing what he was supposed to do legally because he claims he cannot read. While you're in jail or prison, you're behind bars, what could you possibly be doing that's keeping you busy if you're not reading or preparing for your trial? What could you possibly be doing? What are you too busy doing that having a cellmate will interrupt, if not reading? And if you're not reading, because according to you, allegedly, you cannot read, what's happening that a cellmate is going to infringe on? So obviously R. Kelly, he's being held in these draconian conditions, which basically means middle ages, really rough conditions. It's jail, it's prison. What do you think it is going to be about? What did you think that you were going to go into? What were you expecting when the cuffs got slapped on you? Did you think that you were, going to be given a special little room and a special cell like Jeffrey Epstein? You're not Jeffrey Epstein. Come on, you're R. Kelly, which, you guys pretty much are the same person, aren't you? Allegedly. I think R. Kelly is mad that he didn't get a sweet deal like Jeffrey Epstein did. I honestly do. I think he's pissed. So that's interesting. It's an interesting theory, right? All right, so let's leave R. Kelly behind. I'm sure he'll be popping up again soon. He just keeps being ridiculous and saying ridiculous things, so we have to talk about it. So remember when we talked about Emanuele Orlandi and the Vatican video, the one that I had gotten so much heat and hate for because people thought I was talking badly about Catholics and the Catholic religion? Guys, I am Catholic. I went to a Catholic school for a very long time. I was brought up strictly Catholic, Sunday school, all that jazz. So I don't hate Catholics. I just, you know, I do call a spade when I think that the Vatican is a shady enterprise, or, you know, has been in the past. I'm gonna say it. I'm sorry if that hurt anybody's feelings or made you feel as if I was talking down about your religion. I wasn't. It's just, it doesn't really matter. My own political beliefs, my own religious beliefs, all of that, none of that matters when it comes down to facts. And, you know, I talk about facts and evidence, and I deal with facts and evidence. And if I'm not dealing with facts and evidence, obviously I'm going to tell you I heard this, or this was reported, or this is alleged, or this is my speculation. But even if you're a devout Catholic, you have to admit that the Vatican is a little sketchy. So remember when we talked about Emanuele and they'd gotten that mysterious tip-off to look under this certain tomb in the Vatican? Well, they did look under the tomb in the Vatican, and Emanuele wasn't in there, but nobody else was either. So this tomb was supposed to contain the bodies of a Princess Sophie van Hohenlohe? Princess Sophie, we'll call her. Okay, so that was supposed to contain her body, and it was also supposed to contain the body of Princess Carlotta Federica di Mecklenburgo. But there was no bodies in there, right? Emanuele's wasn't in there, and the two princesses, I believe they were German princesses. Yep, they were two German princess noblewomen. Their bodies were supposed to be in there, and nobody's in there, right? So we have a new mystery now. Where did these two princesses go off to? And obviously the family of these princesses were notified that the bodies are gone, but where are they? So this article says renovation work in the late 1800s and again in the 1960s and 70s could have resulted in the removal of the princess's body, but records kept during the work did not immediately confirm where they might have been reburied. It is also not known if they were buried with jewels or other valuables, which typically a noblewoman or a princess would be buried with some of her personal things from life. The cemetery is not accessible to the public without going through Vatican security. So now people are questioning, is the disappearance of the two German princesses related to the disappearance of Emanuele? Did the person who sent the anonymous letter with the picture of the tomb saying to look under the angel or where the angel is, did that person know that the princesses' bodies wouldn't be there? And obviously the Vatican continues to deny their knowledge of what happened to Emanuele. They also deny knowing what happened to these two princesses, even though, like I said, you would have to go through Vatican security before having access to that cemetery. So it would have to be somebody in Vatican City who had, you know, at one point removed the bodies or known where they went. And why would you, if you were doing renovations and there was something going on, why would you remove bodies, especially of two princesses? So you think that they're kind of important, and then put them somewhere and not ever put them back, or not ever keep a record or write down where you put them? It just doesn't make any sense. According to this article, Pope Francis met with Orlandi's brother Pietro shortly after he was elected to the papacy, during which he said that the young girl was in heaven, causing Pietro to wonder how he would know that with such certainty. And Pietro says, "I wish so much that this whole story was a hoax. I really wish Emanuele was not here." So obviously I do believe that Emanuele's family definitely thinks that the Vatican is connected with what happened to her. That is why they're going so hard for this. But once again, in the comments, please let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about R. Kelly. Let me know what you guys think about Emanuele and the Vatican mystery that is now unfolding. Let me know what you guys think about Cam and Briar and Briar's father, Alan. Thank you so much for being here for this quick Coffee and Crime Time update. We will probably do more of these, like once every couple of months. We'll go over a couple of the cases that we talked about previously. There was also one about Casey Anthony's lawyer, Jose Baez, now representing a doctor. The doctor's name is William Hussell, and he is going on trial for overdosing patients with painkillers, essentially, many of them. So I want to do a whole video about that. Let me know if you're interested in me doing a whole Coffee and Crime Time about William Hussell and Jose Baez's representation of him. But it just seems like Jose Baez always picks the defendants that seem the most guilty. Like he's so narcissistic. He enjoys the challenge of representing somebody that he knows is guilty. I really think that's how Jose Baez functions, because it just seems like everybody he picks, he's like, yeah, I know they're guilty, you know they're guilty, but I'm gonna show you how good of a lawyer I am by getting them an innocent verdict. So that's my opinion, and let me know if you want me to do a whole Coffee and Crime Time about that, because it's quite a story. Thank you guys so much for being here. Stay kind and stay beautiful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.